Hey, Gen Z and Alpha, I have a question for you. Can you lean with it? Now, can you rock with it? Could you teach me how to Dougie? If I were to mention a window or a wall, would you know what to do? Okay, I'm clearly an elder millennial with my dance craze references, but seriously, do y'all even dance? I don't mean hit the gritty on the way to the pencil sharpener at school. If you were at a social gathering and music started playing, would you bust a move? Or is social dancing a thing of the past? Hello, and welcome to the You Can Call Me Karen podcast, where we will discuss events from the world around us in an effort to highlight our similarities rather than our differences. I am Steph J, and joined by my dearest friends, Karen Horowitz and Manny Rosa. Today's topic. Oh, hey guys. I wasn't going to let y'all talk.
I don't know. That intro got me very excited. I just had to be like,
you may proceed.
Thank you. Today's episode will be part one of our two-part dance series. Today, we asked the question, do people even dance though? Do they pull up their pants and... Okay, I promise I won't do any more of those. But while there is lots of access to dance videos and trends, we don't really see young folks breaking it down on the dance floor. So I have a couple questions about that, like whose responsibility is it to teach kids to dance in a social setting? But before we get started with today's topic, let's check in with Manny and Karen to find out who you calling Karen.
Okay, so I'm taking us back to September 2023 in Mexico. And we're going to talk about
Oh, damn. How are we just now covering this?
Yeah.
So my co-hosts are laughing because last summer, Labor Day weekend, our girl Steph turned 40 and we all went to Mexico together with our husbands. And we were chilling, having a great time in the pool. I actually wasn't there for this, so you guys can fill in the gaps if I miss anything. But apparently my husband was on his phone, minding his own business, checking up on work emails, looking at scores. I don't know. Who fucking cares? And this woman with the
quintessential. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm like fighting. I'm like trying so hard to restrain myself.
You're going to have to say verbatim what she said, but she came up to Luke and asked him why he was on his phone and proceeded to berate him about being on his phone in the pool in Mexico when he should be having a good time. And our friends were like, look, he's the CEO of his own company. And she's like, well, I have my own company too, and I'm not on my phone, blah, blah, blah. And
oh my gosh,
proceeded to just be very entitled and thinking that she could tell my husband what he should be doing with his free time at the beach in Mexico or in the pool in Mexico, not knowing a thing about him, not even knowing his name. So yeah, we're taking it back to Mexico, Karen.
Luke is like the kindest, gentlest man, and he was quite literally minding his own damn business. He was just taking a moment. We are a lot, so I'm sure part of this was like, I'm going to step away, I'm going to decompress. And then that poor man was assaulted by like the most stereotypical Karen. Oh my God.
We're talking the asymmetrical blonde hair and all.
I am speechless. I forgot all about that.
Me too.
As soon as you said something like Mexico or whatever, I was like, oh my God, why have we not covered this yet? Oh, that Karen. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what we said to her.
I think we were all totally shocked because
shocked.
we were like in the pool drinking,
minding your business.
I cannot overemphasize that enough. Like we were not engaging with other people. There was like the 6 of us. We were all
enjoying
happy.
Those seafood platter, whatever trays that we They were so good.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And then she just strolls up 1 against 6, oh gosh, what balls. I just couldn't imagine a world where like that would have been acceptable behavior for me. Ooh, and my name is Karen, to be clear.
She was so patronizing. Like she was like, you're missing it. Enjoy your time with your people, as if like we weren't having the time of our lives. Like,
and as if like she wasn't doing the same by coming over there and talking to him. Like, I'm like, go enjoy your time.
Yeah, like don't worry about what this other person is doing. Worry about yourself. Gosh, I mean, I tell my 6-year-old son that all the time. Like, you
mind your business,
woman.
Yes,
just worry about yourself.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
oh my Mexico
gosh.
Karen.
Yeah, I was like thinking today. I was like, we haven't talked about Mexico Karen yet, and she's gonna be dragged today.
Dragged.
I hope she hears this. And it's like, wait, I did that before.
It's me.
Yes. And if your name isn't Karen, you better change that name because you
earned it.
That. All right, my Karen story to move us along is much. I was the Karen. Manny, you were there for this. It was a minor moment in time, in my opinion, but we were just in Columbus for Labor Day. I guess that's our weekend.
Oh, Labor Day again, Labor Day 2024.
And we were, where were we? Oh, we were on campus. We were getting smoothies because it was hot as balls outside.
Oh, those ices. Kona ice.
No. This was the smoothies.
Oh.
Remember when we were at the Art Pack or whatever it's called now? Anyways.
Oh.
So literally after this happened, Manny was like, that's your story for our next podcast. So we were ordering at the screens, like it was like, self-service thing. And then you put in your order and you type in your name and then you pay. And then it turns out they call your number, which once you pay, it flashes up a number on the screen, which I paid no attention to because I typed in my name. So when I type in my name, I assume they're going to call my name. Anywho, they started calling numbers. Manny and everyone knew their number and they grabbed their smoothie. And I was like, I don't have a number. Or like, I don't know my number, but there should be a smoothie over there with the name Karen on it. And it was like, God.
Everybody behind us was laughing. The employees were laughing. We're like, yeah, we bet it is Karen.
Oh, not my finest
man, that was great. Yeah.
In my defense.
Why did they ask for the name? Did they give a number?
Ask for my name. Yeah. I'm like, I'm putting in my name. You're going to call my name. Apparently at the end, a number flashed up and I'm supposed to memorize that. So, anywho, just a little minor Karen incident in my life.
Yeah, that was perfect. I forgot about that. Wow.
And now that I'm sufficiently embarrassed, let's move forward.
Okay, so I have to open with this before we get started. There is absolutely no way the 3 of us couldn't cover the topic of dance because dance is what brought us together. So the 3 of us met at the Ohio State University and we were on the dance team together. And we have been friends ever since, being teammates. And we continued our love of dance by religiously watching So You Think You Can Dance back in the good days. Weekly.
Those fighting words.
Was that salty? Because I'm being, or is that the truth?
I haven't watched it.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
It's not the same. I would say the first 10 seasons are the best, but anyway. We have coordinated trips to go to UDA College Nationals to cheer on our alma mater, 11-time national champions. And
not when we were there, but
I mean,
cut that out.
Sorry.
And as I've mentioned in previous episodes, I am a dance teacher and have been for 17 years. So dance is just something all three of us are passionate about. And I can't believe that we're not just going to dedicate 2 episodes to just talking about dance team, but whatever. So go
we want
us.
to keep
Good
our
job.
audience.
We would like to keep you guys listening. So, so when discussing how we wanted to cover dance, I shared a story of when I was at a dance convention. It was many years ago. I'm thinking like 2013 or so. And I was taking class in the teacher room. So that's definitely a long time ago because I don't dance like that anymore. And the choreographer who was teaching class, he like paused and I can't remember why. I think maybe the combo he taught was to like a song that you would dance to like at a family gathering or something. And he was like, have you noticed that kids like don't know what to do with themselves at a barbecue or at a wedding or they don't like dance. And then he like stopped and he was like, whose fault is that? Because like we're dance teachers, so like do we need to be bringing up social dance as dance educators? Is that on their parents? Is that their families? Like why don't kids in particular don't know what to do socially when it comes to dancing? And I thought it was such an interesting observation because like my gut is to be like, well, it's social media. But at the time, like social media really wasn't as prevalent for the young people. Like maybe there was Facebook, which I mean, young people, if I said Facebook to them right now would like look at me like I had 3 heads. So I feel like I want to viscerally say social media, but at the time it wasn't really a thing. So and now I feel like if we're talking about kids now with TikTok, it seems like with all the dance moves and the dance trends and stuff, like they should be dancing socially all the time. So, like, why do we think that they're not really socially dancing? So I just wanted to start with first asking you, Karen and Manny, like, do you remember dancing socially growing up? Because I do.
Yeah, that was like a prime moment of my childhood, and I think that's why I perpetually live as a 13-year-old in my mind.
Now, okay, can I ask a question just for clarification? When you say socially,
yes,
are you referring to like gym class when they teach you how to like do the salsa? Because I have that memory. Or are you talking like high school dances where you get in trouble for grinding on each other, or both?
I'm talking about like a dance floor forming at some social gathering. So informal, socially, like that's what you do to interact with one another. Is what I'm envisioning, because I remember doing that as a kid, and as a middle school teacher, I've seen middle school dance, and that's not what they're doing. So,
tell us, what are they doing at middle school dance?
They are standing around on their phones, a little bit. And then when music plays, they just kind of like jump up and down, which I guess that could be dancing, but it's not like the way where like they would play a slow song and then you would hope to get asked to dance, or like, I remember when I was in middle school, like No Diggity came on and everybody was like, oh, and like everybody was like, and I know that there's always going to be a pocket of kids who don't dance at a social gathering, but nobody missed a school dance. And the majority of the kids were out on the floor, and the focus was dancing. I know that my school, they don't even like prioritize the dance floor as the dance. Like they don't even want to call it a dance. They have different rooms where kids could go and play games instead if they want, or like, it's not even about like just wondering.
Boo.
Yeah. And so it's thank you for the boo. Because I'm like, what happened to, and I think here I have theories on that. Like I have issues with how we do it because I miss that like middle school dance atmosphere as a middle school educator. But yeah, that's what I'm saying is like they don't even like that's not even the focus of the event anymore, it feels like.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like we've learned, I don't know, maybe we'll get into theories next, but I guess with what I'm seeing, it's interesting because I don't quite know what this truth is, but on one hand, I see on social media feeds groups of students screaming at the top of their lungs to Keisha Cole, love,
yes.
And I see them, or like Tevin Campbell, can we talk? And like even I've seen videos of kids rapping to Not Like Us and like knowing like all the like words, and like it seems like they're at a social gathering and they're all crowded together and they're getting hyped for something. So that I'm like, okay, so it's happening somewhere. Where?
Yeah.
And are these like bar and bat mitzvahs? Like where are they happening? And then the other is that my daughter's school, middle school, only holds like one dance a year. And then they only have like the 8th grade dance that they spent a lot of money on to have these areas that Steph is talking about where the focus is away from the dancing. And it's like, well, we could save all that money, hire a paraprofessional, another teacher, and just throw on some music and give them some glow sticks.
Yeah.
And they would be happy,
For sure.
So, and I don't, and to your point, like I've heard some things of like students don't like to dance, and it's like, well, what came first, the chicken or the egg, right? Like, did you take away all the dances? Because when I was in school, we used to have a dance like once a month at like the teen club after school. We were looking forward to it. It was like this anticipatory event, to your point of like, who's gonna ask me to dance when Always Be My Baby comes out, like we had and like I remember last year Brielle had like her first dance, and I was like, so did you guys like slow dance? And she's like, ew, mom, cringe. And I was like, it was like, that was like young adult romance, like that moment that you're talking about, Steph, So it's like, I don't know, like, did they stop doing these dances as frequently and then the students stopped liking them, or did the students stop liking them so therefore they stopped doing them as frequently? I think we were in a moment maybe in our 20s and 30s where we weren't around for all that decision making, and so maybe that's the blur. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I definitely, when I was like thinking about this, there's some blur, like you just said, and I just turned 40 and I'm a parent of a 2-year-old, so like I wasn't part of that process of seeing it kind of dissipate. I just like showed up and saw a change. And I guess I should mention, COVID, and like we were, having dances. And so during that time, and then like the slow bring back of them. So I'm sure that might have a little bit to do with it. So I don't want to like leave that out as a possibility, but yeah, I don't know. Like
I just remember dance like being just another part of, like growing up. Like I vividly, gosh, when would it have started? Maybe middle school, maybe high school, but there was gym classes that they taught us some like basic dance skills, all of us. It was the entire class. You had to pair up. You had to learn how to like, I don't remember even. I think we did line dancing. I'm pretty sure we learned like the basic salsa. Like,
wow, y'all were hip.
That was. I'm like,
I got
now
square
I'm questioning.
dancing.
Did I remember that correctly? Too. Oh, square dancing. Yeah, it was all part of that. And then also we had the dances where we went to, and definitely some kids sat off to the side and like drank pop. Of course. I don't remember what we had there. Ate popcorn. I have no idea. And they were uncomfortable with dancing in front of everybody because it could be embarrassing. I get that. But for the most part, the focus of that night, not even for the most part, most definitively, the focus of that night was on the dancing. Which boy was going to ask you to slow dance when the slow dance song came on? And like then running off with your girlfriends afterwards to giggle about whatever happened while you slow danced awkwardly with the boy that's like boob height when you're in 7th grade. And you don't
like,
have
come
boobs
here,
yet,
let me
so
be
it
your
doesn't
mother.
Well, I think too,
but
like,
yes.
I don't know, I don't know, you have a preteen, Manny, so maybe you can like fill in the gaps. But like when I think back to middle and early high school, like what we watched on TV also kind of influenced our interest in dances. Like I felt like every show had several episodes centered around
Absolutely.
dances, like Family Matters, Full
I remember
House,
the Saved by the Bell, the
Saved by the
spring.
Bell.
Yes.
Lisa Turtle.
Oh my gosh, Saved by the Bell.
They
And
had
it seems
several
like
dance episodes.
it's like what we looked forward to. Like when I got to middle school, it was like that rite of passage that I would get to go do that. And it's like, is that even a thing? Like, do kids that in 7th and 8th grade want to do that? Do they look forward to it?
Like Brielle is rewatching all the shows that we watch. Like she's rewatching Boy Meets World right now.
Oh my
gosh, I love that
show.
Yeah. So I think that they're into like our stuff. I don't know if it's translating the way that you're saying.
Yeah.
Just because they have so much access to other content and we didn't. So like, they might be watching it, but then they might also be thinking, okay, but when this song plays, we're going to do the TikTok dance to that.
Right.
So because they have access to like other content,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. And I think that's kind of how you were like framing this of like, whose responsibility is it to teach dancing, social dancing, and has TikTok kind of taken that authority to be the leader in teaching people how to dance? But I don't know. I think dance teachers would disagree tremendously that like, please don't go to TikTok to learn how to dance because you're not on rhythm and you're not on beat. So I don't know. I was also thinking about how we held a party. We did a surprise party for one of Brielle's friends last May. She was coming up on the year anniversary of her mother passing, and it was also close to Mother's Day, and it was her birthday. So a bunch of moms and I got together and we threw her a surprise party with just her girlfriends. There were about 25 to 30 girls, and we went to a friend's studio space. She has like a yoga space, and we decorated it with disco balls and stuff. And I was a DJ, and I was playing all these songs: Backstreet Boys, Madonna, Dancing Queen. Is that, I don't know. I was playing all these old songs and they knew all of them and they were full of so much joy, and not a one of them was on their phone, and they were dancing. And then there was this one moment where we taught them the Soul Train, and we're like, okay, you go over here, you go over here. And like me and another mom were like going down. We're like, this is how you do it, and like you go down with a partner. And then they like loved doing we had to stop because we had to sing happy birthday, but they loved doing, they're like, can we do the Soul Train again? So they're open to it. They loved it. It was a wonderful night. It was so much fun. I was like, is this what being a fairy godmother feels like? I was just going to say, my niece Maya had a going away party a couple of weeks ago, and she's just turned 27, and her friends all came over and we partied. It was like the cookout, and we did it, and the kids all watched it. It was a big dance party. So to your point, I think it's all about being like intentional in your gatherings. And I think people are craving that, I don't know. Let's take it back,
For sure.
Just like, maybe it's up to the adults to be the vulnerable ones to go out there and bust a move and show the kids that it's okay to like move your body like this and be silly and have fun. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, I was thinking the dance teacher who, like the choreographer who I was taking that class from, who brought it up, he is Latino and I'm Jamaican, and like my family, when we get together, does turn on music and dance. Like that's part of how we gather and celebrate. And so like when he was saying that, he was like, do you think it's our responsibility, or do you think it's the family's but I feel like he was like, my family taught me how to do that. So, and so I don't know if that's part of it. And I'm thinking too, like, even my own wedding was adults only. And so we're not really taking kids to weddings and stuff. Like, we don't really have as many events like that to like take kids to as families. But that's why schools should have dances where it's like dancing. And like, P.S., we're in the thick of homecoming season. So like all my dancers had like homecomings and stuff. And I don't know what the high school homecomings look like, so maybe they are dancing now that it's a little more cool to do. But I just had such fond memories of my middle school years, 7th, 8th grade, where school like was where you got to show off and dance. And it's just so weird that like the student council person's like, okay, and we should have cornhole and we should have like and I'm literally like, no, trap them in a room, turn on some music and let them dance.
Put some glow in the dark balloons up on the wall, give them some glow sticks. They'll have a blast.
Make it dark enough so people feel safe that they can bust a move without being well seen.
Yeah.
Well, I had another
Let them
thought,
figure this out.
because Minika, you brought up the fact that like if they heard a song, they would want to do a TikTok dance to it. And Karen, you actually sent that reel of like the difference between teens today and teens when we were teens.
Oh my gosh, yes. I identified hard with that.
I identified hard too. To describe it, there's like these like super polished, beautiful teenage girls doing some TikTok dance to, I think, like Megan Thee Stallion or something like that. And then it cuts to these two girls in a bedroom dancing to NSYNC pop with the original choreography. And
if you could call it that,
braces, like big baggy
clearly
sweatshirts,
recorded on a camcorder.
And so I had some thoughts because the current video with the TikTok was edited. The girls looked flawless. The choreography was short. It was just like a little snippet. But the part with the two girls in the bedroom in like 2000 like flat was long. Like that video was long because we learned the choreography for the whole song. We weren't thinking about whether we were going to post it, how to keep someone's attention. Like it was all about the production quality for the teen, like the fresh, like the current teens, but that wasn't what it was about for us. Like we wanted to know every step. We learned the whole 3-minute and 30-second song. And I was thinking too about like the front facing camera, like the girls had to have seen themselves and known what they looked like, but like we set up a camcorder on a tripod. Like we don't know.
Hope for the best.
We just hope for the best. And we're like that, it's just like this pressure, I feel like, to look a certain way because, that posted or it didn't happen kind of thing, mentality too. Cause like, I remember I went to, when I taught 8th grade, I went to DC with my kids and they had a quote unquote dance and same thing. Like they were just standing around and like wrestling each other. I don't know. It was weird. But all of the chaperones as teachers like wanted to dance. Like they had a DJ who was playing good songs. And I did dance because I can't help myself. Okay. And kids whip out their phones and start videoing. And so we're like, take the video, delete the video, put the phones away. And so I just wonder too, if that's part of it is like, no matter what you do, like someone's going to catch you on video. And like, there's just like, I don't know.
That makes me so sad.
Like, what do you think about that?
That makes me super sad for kids today because I can recall very vividly being very nervous and embarrassed to dance. And then like taking a long time to like warm up and, everyone's dancing and I'm like slowly getting some confidence to like break in there. If anybody at that time had a video recorder, video recorder. I'm 75 years old, you guys. But if anybody was recording that, there is no way in hell I would have danced, because it was already very like stressful for me, you know, because I didn't want to look silly. I wanted to fit in and I wanted to look cool or whatever. And like I had to work up a lot of courage, which in hindsight, like I just think that is an important part of like kind of becoming, you know, a grown person, of putting yourself a little bit outside of your comfort zone and interacting with people in a way that you don't normally interact. Like I just think, gosh, I feel like they need to start banning cell phones at these dances and just letting kids be kids.
I think that this is all, you know, making me realize just how vulnerable dancing is. And just, it's kind of making me appreciate that we have this superpower, this gift to be able to hear rhythm and sound and match our body to it in a way that not the average person can do. And I think that helped me actually be more confident in middle school. Maybe that's why I liked it, you know? Because it was like a gift that I had that I didn't really realize I had. And but the thing is, I didn't care if you couldn't dance either. I just wanted everyone out there to have a good time, you know? Like it didn't really matter to me. I just wanted everyone showing kind of their personality, you know, and how the music touched them in that way. But to go to the point about the camcorders, it's making me think about like our concept of the audience and how, I don't know, there was this GIF or this reel that I think I sent. I don't know if I sent you guys, but I know I sent my friend Tara, and it's Viola Davis, and she's in The Help, and she's like crying, and it's like playing the Titanic music, and it's like me on my way to work because I was too shy to dance on social media in 2020. It's like, it's like, you know,
I've seen that.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And I'm thinking about that in this regard of like the reason why we spent 5 minutes dancing or learning the choreography is because having an actual audience see it felt so unattainable. Like that felt like superstardom, you know? Where like to these kids, it's like, no, we actually might be able to be TikTok famous, you know? So like they have to doll up. But for us, I was still in my imagination. I was still up here pretending, right? But for them, it's not pretend. For them, it's like a possibility that they might be able to commodify this. And like, for me, it was just like, oh, one day, like superstardom, you know? So I don't know if that conversation like around audience like shifts things too.
Gosh, it's just reason number 3047 why children should not have social media. Like it's just, it breaks my heart for them. They just don't get to be kids the way that I feel like we got to be kids. And I'm sure our parents said that about us too, compared to their generation. But
just even the fact that you were even using the word audience when we were really talking about dancing socially at a party. Like, you know, when you're dancing at a party, it's not an audience, we're communicating. Like, why are we talking? You know what I mean? But that's their world, is that it's a show. And so it kind of hinders the vulnerability to just be free. And we had freedom at their age.
Yeah, and it's funny that we're talking about it right now too, as the VMAs just happened, because like I have not watched a video music what is it, a music video in decades, right? And so like I think part of that too, learning those things like that, I saw in your notes, Steph, you had like TRL, like that was our culture back then. It's like video, like music videos, right? Like that's where we were trying to go. So there was more like concept around what we were doing. So when you're saying like the dances are shorter, like it's because there's no, like they don't have that whole music video idea of like a production and like the dancers and like the singer and like the whole element around it. And I think that that's like kind of also part of the shift with like when we're thinking about it and we're thinking about the music that's being played. Like, remember I said at Brielle's friend's party, I played Backstreet Boys, I played Madonna. I didn't play anything. If I played like Taylor Swift or Olivia Rodrigo, that's when they were jumping up and down and yelling, but they weren't dancing, right? So like the nature of music has also kind of changed so that they don't, how would they know how to socially dance or do what we were doing because they don't have the same equipment that we do.
Even with all these steps and moves.
The steps and what?
The steps and the moves. Like, I feel like they have all these like moves and trends and stuff, but it doesn't translate to like connecting in a real way.
It's not asking them to feel the music, right? It's just giving them like an 8 count to memorize and then perform an 8 count or 2. Right. So it's not actually asking you to connect with the music in any way individually.
Or each other.
Yeah, I can see how kids who are TikTok dancing, so like such an old lady, like I can see how they show up to a dance and they're like, "What exactly do you want me to do here?" Like they're like 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'm done. I got no other moves, you know.
Yeah.
And just again, it just kind of makes me sad for them. I feel like those were such pivotal years for me, and I have such good memories. I'm sure I've mentioned this to you guys before, maybe even on the podcast, but in my town growing up, the city like bought this little house that was like, I don't know, probably foreclosed or something in hindsight, but like they converted it into like this it was called The House. Like it was just a little gathering space where teens could go and like play pool or foosball or whatever. And it was, I have like very fond memories of this place, but I think it was like maybe once a month on a Friday or something, they would have like a dance and they would just play great music of what you're describing, Manny. And I remember this boy that I had the biggest crush on asking me to dance at one of these little dances. And it was the first time I can recall like literally dancing in front of other people besides maybe my best friend. And I was panicked. And then it got out that like I knew how to dance. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm so cool. Like it was such a moment for me. It was like I vividly remember this of just like a turning point in my, I don't know, confidence. And it was, it just makes me sad that kids don't have that. Poor things. They got to find another way.
Yeah. And who knows, maybe they are like really, maybe this is fulfilling them, you know, like, I don't know, you know, like maybe it is fulfilling them. And like you said, you know, our parents probably had similar conversations, you know, about our generation. I can't believe they're not wearing poodle skirts and doing them.
Poodle skirts? I don't think our parents are that old. I don't know. Maybe they are.
My mom was wearing a poodle skirt.
Yeah?
Like, I don't know.
Oh, I was like, I think that time wing works out.
Oh, gosh. What is that, the 50s? Well, 40s? 30s?
I think that was the 50s.
50s?
50s, huh? I think. I think poodle skirts are 50s.
Yeah. My mom was wearing a poodle skirt.
Okay.
Not the room in a poodle skirt. Just kidding.
Before we wrap, I do have one more reel that I saw that I have to share because, and I'll find it and I'll send it to you guys. It was like similarly along these lines. The caption was something like, how we got down in the club in the 90s or something. And it was like a woman dancing to probably No Diggity or something. And then like a man from across the room starts like dancing his way over, like awkwardly getting closer. And then they like lock eyes and make a decision on whether he's allowed to like touch her and continue to dance. And I'm like, that was college, man.
That was it right there.
It summed it up so beautifully. Like this awkward, weird interaction where you're like grinding on someone that you've never spoken a word to in your life. And you're like staring at your friends like, do I let this happen? Do I walk away? What are we doing here? I just hope kids have random ass experiences like that in a safe, consensual way.
Safe, consensual.
But anywho, sorry, back to you, Steph.
Well, with that, I will ask if either of you have something to share in our confessional, like a takeaway, or thoughts or feelings, or way your opinions changed at all about social dancing amongst the young.
I think the big thing for me that I hadn't considered was the fact that there is the chance that kids are going to be recorded at any point in time in their lives. And so the decisions that they make day to day are quite different as a result. And in some ways, I'm sure it's just the way that they're used to living. And so they don't think anything different of it. But from our perspective and not having that as children, it does make me sad that it feels a little bit like they're being robbed of their creativity or just their like authenticity. So that was a big aha for me, and how everything comes back to social media.
I echo all that, and like your point, Steph. I think you said it, like, record it, post it, or it didn't happen, kind of thing. And it's like, can we? I don't know. Can we? It's funny to come full circle, but maybe that Mexico Karen was right. Can you just be present and enjoy it?
Oh no!
Oh my gosh,
Manny!
Mexico Karen for the win.
Good Lord!
All right. On that note,
and thanks for joining us. Please make sure to like us on Instagram and subscribe to our channel. Until next time.